Welcome back to Midday with our weekly installment of News to You. Remembering the foundations of Oishei Children's Hospital when a beloved buffalo saber was sent packing and the changing faces of Phil Remore. Dave McKinley has our weekly walk back through time when those stories and more were all news to you.
10 years ago this week, when site preparation was underway for the new Children's Hospital, production of the movie Draft Day, which was supposed to be loosely based on the Bills and shot in Orchard Park, was instead moved to Cleveland and rewritten as being based on the Browns when producers said the costs in New York State were too high. A state where professional mixed martial arts was still banned and where the health department in its largest city tried to ban the sale of sugary drinks larger than 16 ounces until a judge ruled it had absolutely no authority to do that. Oh, and Buffalo Teachers Federation President Phil Remore was still head of the Buffalo Teachers Federation this week in 2013. 20 years ago this week, when no one was suggesting that your gas appliances posed any harm to your health or the environment, one of the roughest, toughest, most popular and beloved Buffalo Sabres, Rob Ray, was traded to Ottawa. Amherst cops were called to collar a kangaroo on the loose, wearing a diaper. They got it. Cher had blonde hair. Coleslaw wrestling was catching on, as was a museum exhibit called The Colossal Colon, which you could actually, pass through if you really wanted to. Stranger still, Hooters Air was launched. Now, if you don't remember it, it's probably because it never really took off. Went out of business after 3 years. Rumor has it folks only went on board for the chicken wings. Oh, and Buffalo Teachers Federation President Phil Remore was still head of the Buffalo Teachers Federation this week in 2003. 30 years ago this week.
Platform shoes, they're back in style again.
Just in time for spring. Speaking of which, the Bisons announced a big change for home games. This week's News to You pop quiz. What big change do you think awaited fans heading to what was then known as Pilot Field for the 1993 season? Remember, this was back when folks braved the cold to stand in lines outside the Aud to buy tickets for various events before they had NAP for that, and when you could still get good seats to see Elton John for $26. Back when it cost $1.25 to cross the Peace Bridge. That's $8 now if you don't have an Easy Pass. And when you could get members of the Buffalo Bills to come to your school to play a charity basketball game. And also when, after his first two Democratic candidates were caught up in nanny-gate scandals for hiring folks not authorized to be in the country to watch their kids, Bill Clinton's third choice for Attorney General Janet Reno was confirmed by a Senate panel, among which a future president could be seen. Oh, and Buffalo Teachers Federation President Phil Remore was still head of the teachers union this week in 1993 when it was all news to you.
Thank you, Dave. So here is the answer to this week's News to You pop quiz. 30 years ago this week, the Buffalo Bisons announced a new policy for fans about the upcoming 1993 season. Smoking would no longer be allowed in the seating area on Pilot Field. Since then, the policy has become more strict, with what's now called Sail-In Field, so no smoking or vaping in any part of the stadium. So I guess you could still smoke in certain areas inside, Patrick.
You could see Elton John for $34?
Right. Now it's like $3,000.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Right. And who was that Bills player that was on the basketball court? I was trying to figure that out.
I don't know. I got a quick...
Somebody knows.
Yep.
Somebody's
going to let us know.
Couldn't figure it out. I was looking, I'm like,
who is that? Yeah.
Somebody in the control booth will find out and tell.